Alright everyone, listen up, because this one's going to cut deep. I've cracked the code about America's future, what America is doing, and what money actually is. So, long time ago, money was never even really a thing. It was called bartering or trading. So you would trade an item for an item. But eventually, money became exchangeable by gold, silver, and other forms of metal currencies. Now, these currencies were used to buy items as we do today. Now, the money in America is known as fiat money. And we have paper and digital money, but fiat money is not backed by anything, which means that money comes off of the population of America, the citizens of America's trust in the government. That's what gives money value. America can print out as much money as possible, but printing out money will only cause more problems rather than solving them. America is in trillions of dollars of debt. The reason they don't pay it off is because they would have no leverage if they were to pay it off to the treasuries in which they hold. Because if they were to, it would cause them to charge higher interest, and America would just end up owing more money when they needed more money. So now that we've got that out the way and we understand what money is, understand that the American dollar is not backed by anything. Now let's talk about how everything in America is expensive. You notice every year inflation rises. America can control inflation. They control many aspects of it, and there's a lot of different factors that goes into it. But in reality, the reason why economic rise is so high every year is there's a gap. There is a gap between the rich and the poor. And the poor people are the ones that struggle the most. The middle class are the ones that struggle the most. And I'm going to give you an example. If you have 100 apples, and those apples were $5 each, and now they go to $10 each, the only people that are going to be able to afford them are the rich. And the wages that the poor and middle class get paid are simply not enough to keep up with the prices of everything that goes up year after year. So you have to think about in time and how long it may be, who knows. In time, eventually the poor and middle class won't exist. There will only be left with the rich. Think about that. Really think about that. Because we can't keep up with inflation. We can't keep up with economic rise. We cannot keep up with that based off of our wages. That is why our job market is so bad. That is why the economy is so bad. That is why we're always complaining about rent prices, housing prices, food prices, etc., etc. Now that you understand where money comes from, what money is, how money is not backed up by anything in America, money basically is given value by us, and it's all about supply and demand. Now with supply and demand, the poor people can't afford that. Rich people are going to take that over, which leaves America in however many years in the future it's going to be a democratic uprise. It's going to be a battle. Why is it going to be a battle? Because the poor and middle class people are going to realize they can't afford anything, and you're left with nothing but rich. I'm kind of getting at the point that America wants all the power. America wants all the control, and is befolding beneath your eyes because we represent these political parties such as conservatives and liberal. But what you don't actually realize is that America will not be what it is right now, because the richer get richer and the poorer get poorer. But what happens when you eliminate all the poor? Well, America's future is at great lengths, because when there's nothing but rich, power, money comes with control. I'm seeing that it's gonna end up being in just like a king, because I think when that democratic uprise does happen, the poor people aren't gonna have enough voice to speak out, because they're already gonna be overrun by the rich. So think about that. Think about what money is. Think about what they're doing in America. I'm not against it. You know, I'm not trying to change anybody's mind or perspective about what actually is happening, but think about it. So yeah, me at 24 years old, after 20 minutes of research backed up by ChatGPT and me asking the important questions, I was able to figure out that America is doomed in the future. America is controlling us. That's why I always talk about wage slavery, working your 9 to 5, being a slave, building up infrastructure for the next generation. But the next generation doesn't realize they're going to be doing the same exact thing. And as much freedom that you think you have, as much as you think your rights are protected, etc., etc., the truth is you're only giving in to the rich. Think about that. That's what controls the power. That's what controls everything. That little bit of money you get, you're just a consumer. You're giving it right back to them. Where everything that you buy, you're giving it straight back to the rich. Your house, back to the rich. You're not going to own that house when you die. It's going to go off to somebody else. Maybe it's your kids, but eventually it's going to go to the government. That's who's going to own it. The government owns and controls everything, and the rich will forever remain rich, and the poor, well, who knows if there will be poor in the next 10,000 years. Maybe even sooner than that. Who knows? Who knows if there will be middle class? And that should be something you should be worried about, because now we're talking about your family, your generation, your legacy. What is the world to come? Is this how the world will end? I'm honestly baffled that just by observation and analysis that this is the way that I think about it. This is my thought process. I love living in America. I mean, everyday, day-to-day life is not bad. Like, we have it better than most countries, but I'm not blinded, and I won't be blindsided by the fact that I understand where I stand in America. I understand as a US citizen where I'm at in America, but I'm not gonna be one of those another sheep that's just guided by other sheep. I'm gonna be the wolf of the pack and lead the sheep to the place that I want them. But I can't do that because one person doesn't have that much power, and one person never will. So what actually controls the government? What conspiracy theory can you actually depict or devise, or whatever the word? What can you actually do with this? You know what I'm saying? Nothing. The truth is nothing. All I've done is given you information, made you more aware, and the truth is, as the American population, we have no control over anything like that. And I'm not even into politics. I would never discuss politics. I just wanted to make y'all aware that this is what's going on. So if you want more content like this, please like, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. But this is my observation and analysis after about 20 minutes. It happens just like that.